Hi, everyone. It's Marilyn Alori, and welcome to Who Can It Be Now? And I am super excited that you're joining me today. This is a very special pod party with two people that I absolutely love. So I'm going to be talking to two people soon, and we're going to be going and deep diving into their questions that they have. And the reason why I'm doing this now is because I really want you to get the opportunity to grow in your business, in your life, in everything you're doing. And I think the best way to do that is to bring real people on. You can see me laser coach them, work with them, have help them through an issue or a problem and help them move forward. And therefore you get to relate to it and see yourself in their lives. And a lot of times what happens when I'm coaching people is I answer questions that you didn't even realize you had. You get questions answered that you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize I needed to know that, but that was perfect right now. So before we dive into that, there's a few things that I want to tell you. I am shifting and growing and changing like a mofo. Okay. Honestly, it is insane lately. And I was talking to a friend about this just a couple of days ago. And she said, I was like, been telling all of you, I'm recording this on Friday, August 26th. And I've been telling all of you 2022 how I decided to 10x my life this year. Well, let me tell you something. When you choose to do something like that in your life, all the fucking shit hits the fan. That's the best way I can say it. It has been so incredibly, unbelievably challenging at times. And it has been such a, and I don't want to say a roller coaster because yesterday I had one of those days, actually this week, I had one of those weeks where, oh my goodness, where the fear is just rising in your body and my parasympathetic nervous system is so affected. And I'm like, oh no, what the F am I going to do? And I'm so grateful for the techniques and the tools that I have and community because right away I could see it. And this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I can pause, take a breath, look around you, notice that it's not falling apart right now. That's just all in our head. Oh no, I can't pay the bills. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage. Oh no, my boyfriend's leaving me. Oh no, so whatever it is, that doctor thinks there's something wrong. Whatever it is, breathe. Take a moment. Notice something really beautiful around you, whether it's the trees or go up and have a delicious glass of water or make a cup of tea. It's not as bad as it seems. And so I removed myself out of that place. Yesterday, I was having a moment and I called a friend of mine, my friend Simone Wright. You can go check her out, WRIGHT. She's an incredible intuitive and artist, and she's been so brilliant with me with walking through this stuff recently. And we talked a lot about it. And I started coming down, and I knew what Jay-Z says, that this wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. And I knew that there was something bigger and greater happening. And I was able to move into solution pretty fast. And that's why I want to do these hot seats, because I want to show you how we can move into solution. So getting back to what I was saying about my friend, I was talking to my friend a couple of days ago because she's going through another friend. She's going through stuff too. And she said, well, it totally makes sense. Like when you say, and I said it to her too, when you say you want to next level your life, like if I had known back in January, December that I was going to say, when I said I'm going to next level my life, I was like, woohoo, bring it on, baby. It's going to be a ride. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. Oh no, man, does the universe challenge you? Because you have to build character, you build strength. You have to build, one of the biggest things I'm building right now is belief in myself, my self-worth, my value, what I can offer the world. I'm actually starting to step out in a way of teaching that I have been hiding for so friggin' long, hiding it for different reasons. And some of them are rooted into it's not my Catholicism, it's my Catholicism and other Christian beliefs that just start showing up, And I'll get more into that in the podcast and share it. Like every time I do these hot seat calls, I want to give you a little bit of a story too, so we could help you. Somebody had just written, actually, I didn't get to see it because I've been on calls today. In Podbean, they wrote like, thank you so much for sharing your stories. You're really so honest and truthful, and you really made my day. So bringing it back, I just want to bring it around. So I had one of these weeks. And part of it was about, and I'm going to share this podcast, it's going to be a bonus podcast, was about around selling. How do you sell your own personal brand if you don't believe in yourself, right? Now, I believe in my work, I believe in myself, but I was getting caught up in groups where everything was about the bottom line, was about how much money you're making, was about, oh, this person's got 1 million views and you only have 20, so you suck, whatever the story is that you start telling yourself in your own head. And I extricated myself from those groups because I was like, this is not in alignment with who I am. And I was on a call, and you're going to hear the whole story, but I was on a call with my therapist and we broke through it. And I did a whole Facebook Live around it. In that Facebook Live, somebody contacted me and they said, I want to work with you. And I have a program called Next Level Living. And Susan, who you're going to hear from today, is in Next Level Living. And that program, as much as it's an open door, it's really not. You have to kind of really I have to get to know you a bit before you can get in there. I'm very protective over that program and the people in it. So this woman contacted me and I sent her a couple of videos and we had a conversation. I wanted to make sure that it was the right program for her. I also don't want her wasting her money. I don't want you wasting your money anymore on programs. So she sounded great. She was able to handle my questions. And I'm direct, man. So we just had a call today and I loved her. She was amazing. We had this amazing conversation. She joined. So I'm noticing the more that I just continue to align with my truth, I know that God is for me, not against me. I know that everything is happening for me, not against me. I'm sitting in that and I'm reaching out to the people that are in alignment with me, not the ones that are going to be like, I remember I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sorry, Vivian, Susan, I'll be done in a second because they're waiting patiently. I was talking to somebody like a couple of months ago, and she's a money person. It wasn't the financial, you're going to hear about the person I hired and how that fucked me up, but we'll talk about that later, another time. This was somebody else that I know, and I felt like she was shaming me. And I was like, this is not somebody. Now, that may not have been her MO or what she was doing. That was my receiving of it, but it wasn't like lifting me up. It wasn't highlighting me. It wasn't helping me. It wasn't like my friends don't just fluff up my butt. They tell me the truth. They call me out on stuff, but with love, with respect. And I got off that call with this person who was a supposed friend and a peer. And I was like, ooh, that was fucked up. I didn't like that. I felt horrible about myself. I don't go to those people. So through this week where I've had this experience, I knew who to call. I knew who to go to. I knew what book to listen to. And damn well, I was in meditation talking to my guides. And can I tell you, every time I got into meditation, they dropped in the solution really fast because I made space for it. And then it's all like I'm being called to live even bigger and greater. And I've been asking for this, right? But was I ready for it? And now I'm being called to be it and do it and hold space. You're going to hear from two people that I absolutely love today. And this is about a community of people coming together and supporting each other and loving each other through the hard times and celebrating each other and raising each other up. Those are the communities I want to run and be part of. And I realized, like, through all of this, first of all, my guides are key. They're there. The answer is always there. God, the universe is for you, not against you. And you're being called to something bigger and greater. And you can do it. You can meet it. You can make it happen, and you can move through it. Somebody actually shamed me a little, tried to shame. It's my own shame, right? They can't shame you. Nobody can shame you. And I was like, no, fuck you. I wrote back an email last night and I called it all out, man. I'm not going to sit in shame anymore around anything in my life. And nobody does that to you. You have to, I'm being honest, this is about me, old stuff coming up that I have to address, but I'm also going to stand in my truth and say to somebody, no. So buttoning this up so I can get into these hot seats. What is this about? When you feel your nervous system go out of whack, I'm actually going to do a class about money and mantras around money. It's going to be probably a 40-day class. Listen in to the podcast, join my list. The class dropped in today. It's what I've been doing. It is blowing my mind, the work that's happening. It's not only about money, it's about self-value, self-worth. It's going to be a phenomenal class. Join my list. I'm going to do it. Go to marilynnalaurie.com, join it. But the bottom line is, I want to give you a tip technique now before we jump into theirs. Breathe, take a breath, look around you. Look at the trees, look at where you're at. Write out, I'm listening to, The Power of Positive Thinking. It's Norman Vincent Peale's book, which I have a story about that, but I'll wait for another time. He says, write down your assets. And your assets aren't financial. They're the people that love you, your dogs that love you, your the fact that you have running water, the fact that you do believe in something unseen that has your back, the fact that you have your own back because you keep showing up. And review that list and sit there. And then listen to the inspiring thoughts. Those are your guides that may say, go watch this video, or go call your friend Mary Jo, or go sit in a park right now and watch the kids play. There is so much power in those moments that when you pause and you do something like this is what's happening to me. I'm amazed at the solution that's dropping in. And here's the biggest thing. The solution is dropping in, and I'm having the courage to meet it and do it and move through it and have incredible results. I can't tell you the synchronicity that happened in the last 12 hours. That call this one, go here, check out this post, Marilyn. I read the post and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. That post is speaking to the thing that I need. Then I contact the person. I'm like, do you know? And I've contacted this person before. I'm like, do you know? I need something. I need this thing, this skill. Do you know? Oh my goodness, I have the perfect person for you. Puts me in contact with them right away. I'm like, oh my goodness. So if you just pause, you believe that something greater is happening. It's amazing to me how you're supported. So I'm asking a couple of things right now, and I want to share this with you real quick. Email me at care@marilynnalaurie.com and let me know the business things that you want to learn, because I'm taking business to a whole new level and teaching it at a whole new level. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share the podcast. The more you can get my work out there, the more I feel we can affect change. It's also not about me. If you review me, review your experience of me, because someone's going to relate to your story. Same with my book. And just thank you. Thank you so much for listening. All right. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Susan. I'm sorry that took a little bit longer than I thought. Was there something I'd like both of you to share, a little something that you took from that, because I want them to hear your brilliance before we jump into your questions. So these are two brilliant people you're going to hear from. Vivian, do you want to go first? Because looks like you were taking notes.
I did write down some stuff. So thanks a lot for all the things that you shared, because to me it's always helpful to hear your stories, because it always kind of like triggers something that then opens a whole new world again. And I wrote down, and what I wanted to say is that the communities that you run are exactly what you are aiming for, because these were the communities, or are the communities that really allow me to be, and also to allow myself to be supported through tough times. So these were the two biggest takeaways for me for right now. Thanks.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Susan?
I definitely second that. The opportunities to be with like-minded people and to be able to be yourself, however that is, and whatever particular day, is just amazing to me. And it's really helped me step out of my own way, which I can get very easily caught up in. So I appreciate that. And always, Marilyn, your honesty and authenticity of just straight shooting it. That's another way that I really am. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Let's just get to it and do it. So thank you for that. And the pause place, it's really great. That's a really good validation for me. I've been using that for over a year now and find that it gets me out of so much trouble of not even, if someone triggers me, just to be in that pause and breathe changes the whole energy of whatever's going to come next. It's just been wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and you don't even have to pay money for pause. Pause is something that is free to all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something I want to jump into this, because I don't want you guys to have to be on here too long, but you did say something, Susan, that I want you to bring attention to. We were talking before we started, and I was saying, wow, it's been like so gnarly lately. And Susan said, thank you so much for saying it, because I thought I was causing it. Do you want to speak to that real quickly? Because I know there's a lot of people. I was thinking the same thing. Like, what did I do to cause this? What choices did I make? I was shaming myself. Shame is like the big thing. And I was like, no, no. I looked at everything. I'm like, this is just part of life. I'm making good choices, good decisions. It's just part of it. So do you want to speak? Do you want to say anything about that, sweetie?
Yeah, it was just, it is interesting, like how I'm fairly intuitive. And so I can typically tell, okay, what's my responsibility in this energy or whatever? And then really what isn't mine? And is that just the person being who they are? And so, you know, my question is, I'm still learning about relationship, right? So that's part of it too. It's like, which lane is mine? And I do like to stay in my own lane and then allow, and this is just coming up now, it's kind of funny, having the allowance for the other person to be in their lane too without judgment or making them right, wrong, good or bad. And that seems to be a very strong learning piece for me as of the last month.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm going to share real quickly and then we're going to jump in. Is thank you for that so much, Susan. I was talking to somebody today and we both came out of a similar group. I'm not going to give too much information about it because I would never want to throw someone under the bus. And she was sharing her experience, which I didn't know. And I was like, oh my goodness, that was my experience too. And it wasn't a great experience, but we both said from the place of this has nothing to do with them. This has nothing to do with the type of people they are. This has to do with what we've learned from it and moving on. And I agree with you. It's like, it doesn't, but we don't have to stay in that lane. Like you do your lane, they do their lane, and we get to choose like, okay, that's not the right lane for me. And I'm not going to participate in this, but you can be you over there. I'm going to be me over here. Good for you. Yeah, I know you've been going through a lot. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so we're going to start with Vivian. So the way that this works is I'm going to set a 10-minute timer. I'm going to read your question, Vivian, and then we're going to laser coach together. And then Susan, I would like you, so anybody who's listening to this, you may not have a similar question to Vivian, but you are struggling with something in your life. So think about what you may be struggling with in your life and listen to the conversation between Vivian and me. And there will be techniques and tools in what I share with Vivian and maybe even what Vivian shares back to me that will help support you. So that's how we get one-to-many happening with one person's laser coaching. Then Susan, if there's anything you want to share, of course, because I trust you, you're in my communities, I would love for you to share. I'll give you an opportunity to share with Vivian as well. So as a coach, I know you're a coach. You can just share that. Okay, let me start it. How to move through challenging work situation is what she needs coaching around right now. I'm feeling hurt and I'm not sure if I can continue working here. That's such a big statement, Vivian, because there's a reality to the statement. So something that I've been doing, and I'll get into your next thing in a second, something that this therapist has been helping me too, is be in the reality of the emotions. Too many times we're like, we've just kind of been talking about this, I brush it away, or, just deal with it, or just get strong, just plow through. And she's been making me look at the reality of the situation and the emotions in the situation. We don't want to deny the fact that you're hurt, but we don't want to make a decision from that hurt place.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to definitely give you a chance to, is there something you want to say to that before I go to the next thing?
No, but that makes perfect sense, because I also have the tendency to kind of like thinking I have to push through it and I just have to kind of like deny the emotion and to allow the emotion to be what it is. And as you said, then not making a decision from the emotion, but still allowing the emotion to be what it is.
That's a great response. So let me tell you something that's kind of what Susan was saying. One of the things that has really helped me is to work with my wounded energy around it and my hurt, and to really nurture myself about it so that it doesn't become about the other person. Yeah, even if the other person is doing something that is unfair, we want to call a spade a spade. We don't want to say like, oh, you're just causing everything. I'm not going to get into that nonsense, because I don't fully believe that. I believe that we're in relationship with people and they're triggering things, but it's our work with ourselves. And what I find, I'm going to read your next thing, but what I find is when I can kind of like say, this is nothing to do with them. And I'm going to give you a technique and a tool in a minute, a little bit, nothing to do with them, even though they're triggering me. They may be saying something, they may be doing something. We're not saying they're not responsible for something here, what is the wound inside of me that it's bringing up? So do you know what the wound inside of you it's bringing up? Can you identify it?
Because that's what I tried to do during the
Yes.
whole those past few months, because I was always, what is it triggering in me? What does it remind me of? Because I mean, these are all tools that I have learned from you as well. And lots of things came up, but I think it really boils down to unworthiness. Even kind of like today, I felt like I need to justify my existence, even. So it kind of like not feeling worthy of even being here.
So there's something, and I know you, Vivian does do a lot of work. Vivian does angel readings. Vivian has worked on herself a ton. She was a coach in my Soul Finder Academy program, so I know her really well, and I know you have the tools and techniques. You know what's interesting to me? So this person is accusing you, without even me reading more, is accusing you of something that you did not do, and they're refusing to see the truth, your truth of the situation. They're only seeing their truth. Is that correct?
It's even different, because this person, she's very moody, and we always knew that she's very moody. So but for the last 2 years, it was like almost over the top. I was hugged every day, I was kissed every day, and it was like being bathed in sunshine. And then she started to withdraw the love more and more, and then she became really rude. So and I was like, did my mother do that as well? And certain things do remind me of my mother, but this feeling of being helpless, there was nothing I could do, because whenever I would ask her what is wrong, and she would say nothing. And but it was obvious that something was wrong.
Okay, so I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm going to give you a thought to think about, but it's not the question I want you to answer. So I'm going to give you two. Why is she your source? That's the first question. The second question is, what did she give you that you're not giving yourself?
Why is she the source? Yeah, she shouldn't be the source, because I should be my own light. I can kind of like, I can shine my own light for myself. I don't need it from her. And what was the second thought?
Let's stay there a second. I'm glad you didn't remember the second question. Are you making yourself wrong right now in this moment because she was a source of light?
Yes.
And you should have known better.
Yeah.
Why are you, because I'm not asking you in a way that you should have known better. So I don't want you to receive it that way. And I don't want you to do that to yourself. So if you can fully embrace and love yourself right now, Vivian, which I know you can, and there was a situation at hand where she became your source because she gave you something, how can you love yourself through the moment and answer this question? Is she your source, Vivian?
No, she's not my source, but what just came up was like, I felt welcome. And that in a way ties into the having to justify my existence, kind of like. So
kind of like, go ahead.
So it was really kind of like, it was a joy to go to the office.
Okay. What did she give you was my second question, which you kind of answered, but what did she give you?
She gave me probably attention. And she gave me affection and kind of like validation.
And the word that came up for me was permission. So if I was to say she gave you permission, what did she give you permission to do or be?
To just be there, even just in that space, because she rules,
Good. That's good. Did you feel seen and heard from her? By her? Seen and heard?
I felt always kind of like that it was very, not one-sided, but that it didn't really depend on how I was, on how she treated me. She treated me like this because she wanted to, but it didn't really have much to do with who I was or what I was.
So
Or during that time when she treated me well, she kind of like, she acknowledged my kindness, my brightness, and all those things.
right.
Yeah.
So in a way, she saw you without you having to do anything.
Yes.
Say those 3 words. She saw your, what were the 3 things she saw in you?
My
You said-
kindness,
Go ahead.
the brightness as well. What else did I say?
Well, say it now, whatever it is. You said brightness, kindness, and what was the 3rd thing you felt that she saw in you?
My worth, in a way.
Great. Okay. If you were to see, Vivian, are you able to see your brightness, kindness, and worth outside of your relationship with her?
Yes.
Okay. Can you close your eyes right now and just experience and tell me where in your body you're experiencing the feeling of your brightness, your kindness, and your worthiness?
That really is between my solar plexus and then going up into my heart and all the way to the throat chakra.
What color is it?
It's reddish in a way, reddish, very bright.
What shape is it?
It's like a tube.
Breathe into it a second.
Now it changes color.
That's okay. What color did it change to?
Into green.
How does it feel
Good, cooling.
emotionally besides cooling? Good. What else?
Loving. Kind and kind of like almost wrapping me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. Great. Now, what does this color, and there's no trick questions here, so don't worry about that. Move that out of the way. What is this color to, who does it belong to? What does it belong to? Can you tap into where it's coming from? Like, is it, just tell me. I don't want to give too much.
That came from, or that comes from Raphael and Mother Mary.
Beautiful. I want you to envision this person who's been hurting you, and I want you to put this color as well as Archangel Raphael and Mother Mary between the 2 of you.
Mm.
I want you to only breathe into Raphael and Mother Mary in the color. I want you to pray that they heal the triggers between the 2 of you, that you don't need to fix them, that they're going to take care of it. Tell me how you feel.
It feels wonderful. It really does feel like I can let it go because there's nothing I can do as my small self. I can kind of like really hand it over to Raphael and Mother Mary.
Okay. Can you root into that and ground in it and believe that that's the truth?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. All right. Open your eyes a second. Let me just read the last of your question, but I think we got it. The person who's hurt me would be no longer working here. Right. Okay. Now, your thing was if you could fix it right now, the person who would hurt you would no longer be working there. Is that necessary at this point? Or did you just learn something about yourself that is truly magical?
I think right now it doesn't matter in a way if she stays or if she leaves because it's being taken care of.
Yeah.
Between us. So
Okay.
no, it's beautiful. Thank you.
A couple of things I want to share real quick is a lot of times when these triggers happen with people, this is what I do, Jesus, right? So I'll do it,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm amazed how it could go away right away on the tennis court. I'll be ready to jump over the court and hit somebody. And I'll just put Jesus, and all of a sudden I'm like totally neutralized. I'm like, wow. But the thing that's happened is when we focus on trying to fix something or somebody's angering us, we're focusing on the energy. So we're feeding it with energy.
Right.
And they diffuse that energy. So then we're able to get into a neutral place. Now, this place of work may be coming to an end because you're being called to something greater, because you've had a couple of struggles with it. But we never want to make that decision from the place of heightening what you're feeling. Great.
Exactly.
And there may be another layer to this, but don't worry about it. Just keep working this tool. It'll work. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thanks a lot.
welcome. I want to hear if Susan has anything she wants to share.
I love that. So the thing that I got was that the job seems to be complete. That
Yeah.
it's time for you to go somewhere else. That was one of the first things I wrote down. And then the other thing that came up too was that there seems to be a vibrational mismatch.
Mm,
What I've learned is when we operate from a higher frequency because of the work that we've done, other people are attracted to it and they can't maintain it. So their offense is to take us down and bring us down to their level instead of them rising to our level.
To our level. Makes perfect sense as well. Definitely. Thanks a lot, Susan.
is
Thank
so
you.
true, Susan. That was great. So good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Good job, Vivian. Thank you for your vulnerability and transparency.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. Okay, Susan now.
Yes.
And then Vivian, do the same because you're brilliant. And just make notes of anything you want to share. And anybody who's listening now to this next part, you may have worked through a solution. You may have heard something in my coaching with Vivian and Vivian coaching herself and Susan's beautiful material there too, as well, her techniques and tools and information. You may have another question now. And that's usually what happens when we're working to solution, right? It's not just one answer. So just come up with another question as I work with Susan. Okay. Susan, relationships. You know what I love about this, Susan, before I even get into it, and I know Susan quite well because she's in Next Level Living right now. You started out your conversation with me about relationships and how much you're learning about relationships. And the thing that's happening in terms of romantic partnership is exactly the advice you just gave Vivian. It's like, you know, your soul decided you're at an elevated level, and I know you very well. And you've done a lot of incredible things. Susan's written a book. Was a death doula. She's, I think she's a pilot. She's done so many different things, and she never holds ego space. She's always this beautiful, beautiful being. And for me, I'm going to read your question in a second, but it's just part of a reading. I feel like the person that's coming in, and I don't know that you're asking about romantic relationships, but I know we've talked about this a bit before, is this incredible human being who's got such light energy. He's in a tan suit. I don't know why. He may just be a businessman, but he's just got a great smile. He's also he's got a business mind. He's got a mind that he might be semi-retired, but he's not retired in the sense of retired, because he's active and he likes to do things and he likes to go places and he likes to travel. And he's looking for a woman who is age appropriate. It's not like one of those things. He's looking for a woman who is got the quest for life like he does, the thirst for life like he does. You're not going to settle for anything else. He's super intelligent man, super, super intelligent, great conversations, great looking, great shape, takes care of himself, right? So attracting my forever partner, I feel, and I'm going to get into your problem in a second. Well, it really, the only thing that is that you've been weighed down a little bit with the things that have been in your life, which is the move, the grandson, the different things that are happening. I'm not going to get into stories about your family because that's private to your family. And you've just been working through, it's almost like you're in a chest, like a hope chest. Remember they used to give those when you got married, a hope chest. And you're like, I don't need this dress anymore. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. And then there's this empty chest. And you're staring at it, and it's got really pretty paper in it. And you get to fill it. You get to fill it now. And Spirit is asking, they're showing me a W. So I'm going to give a W. It could be the W Hotel. It could be Walter. It could be something like a W. You have to, and I say this loosely with the have to around it, the brackets, but you have to do things, and you do things out of the ordinary, Spirit says, but it's like, every week, I want you challenging yourself in a beautiful, safe way. This can't be like, I'm going to go to, I remember once going to speed dating and it was like the worst thing ever. It's not doing that. It's doing something that feeds your heart and soul. If you had this beautiful chest in front of you, what do you want to fill it with? Well, I want to go to that pottery class, or I want to go to that art exhibit, or I want to go to take that canoeing thing, that water, something about water around the sky. And he also likes to golf. It's time for you. It's always been about other people. And spirit wants you to know that it's time for you, but you haven't laid your feet firmly on the ground yet to walk your path. You're still a little distracted with taking care of everybody else because it's in your MO. So I didn't read this part. I didn't read any of your questions until we sat down. What have you tried to do to fix it? Self-care, self-love, self-acceptance. I want you to accept the fact that you're already there. You don't need any more of that. List of what I want a partner to be, great. Who I have to be to attract a partner. I feel you're already there, honestly. So the work right now for me, and I want to hear what your feedback is on this, is number one, thank you, Spirit. There's a couple of things I want to give you. I've been working with mantras. I'm going to start bringing them into Next Level Living. It's going to be in the money class, one of the mantras. I want you to find a mantra about love. I want you to, if you're comfortable with this, honey, I want you to repeat the mantra for 40 days. Get beads, repeat the mantra. I would love, this is what I'm teaching the money class. I would love you to create a vision book as you're doing the mantra. So it's sometimes hard to count the beads while you're doing the vision book. So you can do the beads once. It's about 9 minutes usually. And that's 108 times. And just know, and usually what happens is I do my book, I do my mantra. I'm like in the energy of the book and cutting out pictures and filling it in. And before I know it, the beads time is gone, but I'm just continuing on because I'm in the energy. You can also sit and visualize, because what's missing for me, there's a little tiny disconnect as to what you deserve and what you believe you can have. And Spirit's like, let's just work with what you deserve. Okay. I promise I'm gonna let you talk in a second. Adventure with my ideal partner, conversations, traveling, dates, intimacy. That person is there. So there's a belief in there that like, oh, I already had this, or I already had, it's not for me. It's been too long. It's too hard. My age, whatever the story may be, sometimes I find like rewriting the belief isn't enough. And you've been through Soul Finder Academy. Rewriting the belief is great. But also sometimes I feel like I have to throw energy to the belief to diffuse it. And the reason why I love mantras so much is because I don't understand the Sanskrit. I don't need to understand it. You could also do it just with sound. But if I continue to get into the vibration that I trust with Sanskrit, that it is totally has that vibration, it feels it to me. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. And I trust that it's dissolving the blocks. That's all my intention I need to do. And then I need to just focus on where I'm going. Tell me what you feel, honey, about all of this.
Hopeful.
You know what I heard? He's right around the corner.
You know, it's so funny. So one of the things that I've put out lately, especially since I've moved now all around water, is that I want to meet someone who has a boat. And it's like, all right, well, what kind of a boat do I want? I want a sailboat. I want a catamaran. I want to sail all around. So this morning, I had to get up early for work anyway. I'm getting ready. And this is the first time this has happened. I have a great view out at the Chesapeake Bay. And all of a sudden I just see this white like sail. And I was like, wait a minute, what's that? And literally it comes into view and it is a catamaran. There has never been one anywhere near where they're always on the other side, which is where Annapolis is. Never one that it's almost like if I went across the street, I could have called them and said, hey, come back, type of thing. And so I just sat there and I actually cracked up that it's like, wow, it is obviously closer than I thought. And you're spot on with the belief of all of that. I never would have come up with the idea of a mantra about love on my own. And thank you for that. And I have a mala necklace and I can do that. That
Okay.
feels like it'll put me, like you said, in the energy of what I'm wanting. But the camera, I mean, I'm going to keep that visual because that was just so good.
Get a sailing magazine. Use that in
Oh.
your vision book. The other thing I'd like you to do is to do the mantra looking out at the water.
Yep.
There's many different things you could do. There's a couple of things I want to say, and then I definitely want to hear from Vivian. Your throat chakra was a little shut down for me with this when you were talking. That's speaking truth to yourself. So that's walking around going, I am lovable. You're gorgeous. You are super smart. I have never had an interaction with you that I did not love.
Oh,
It's so true, Susan. And I've never seen you hold space for anyone that is not absolute love and smart and direct and honest too. And this guy, he's not somebody he's into fluff at all. This is an intelligent conversation type of person who's beautiful. He's got beautiful hands, the way he holds you. So I want you speaking that to yourself, because what happens is, especially as women, and if it's been a long time, and I understand this, then we have a hard time, like, shifting that. So I want you to do that. The other thing I want to say to you real quick, and then I want to hear from Vivian, the souls list. So I didn't remember this. I went to a baby shower and this woman came up to me and she said, "Oh my goodness, I had a reading with you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember people." And she said, "I came to you to find my husband. You told me to do the souls list. I did the souls list. I took golf lessons. I met my husband." I want you to do it, but I want you to look into sailing classes.
oh yeah, there you go.
Okay. I want you to look at sailing trips possibly, or even kayaking trips. You're outdoorsy. And I find this, Susan, you're outgoing enough that if I go into a group like an REI group, I'm okay going alone. So you want to do, I don't want you doing anything that's like, I don't mind you doing a little fearful, but we don't need to push against the fear to such a degree that you shut down. That I don't want. Okay.
No, that's good. I can do that. I belong to a yacht club and there's actually.
Oh my God.
different
I
yacht
saw
clubs.
you sitting at a club.
Yeah,
Why? Do you
one-
go?
Well, I haven't gone as much, and there is a different yacht club that has a bigger marina that has catamarans at it. So now this is going to give me the impetus to go and find out what it would take to go to that yacht club.
Yeah. Because I saw you at a club and I'm like, she needs to be at a country club. Oh, good, good, good. Okay. And I know you trust me enough that I'm not like making things up.
Oh, not at all. No, it's
Yeah.
great validation.
Vivian, what did you get? You have to unmute, honey.
Okay, so that was brilliant just to listen to. And one thing that in the beginning I felt a little bit, there was still almost like some residue of fear around the kind of like also being in a relationship then again. And but then it also felt like it is really just around the corner. That was like when you said that, I had just thought that, and I was like, yep, she is. And I love the story with the catamaran, and I think it's brilliant if you would check out that other yacht club and see how you would fit in there. But it really feels like it's just around the corner. And I got also kind of like a tall, nice, good-looking man, definitely.
I want to say something but do you have your angel cards with you?
I don't.
Okay.
But hold on a second, because
Wow. Thank you, Marilyn. Holy
There's
cow.
something here though, Susan, that she said that was key: responsibility. So I want you to get in touch with the person. The story you wrote in my book was so beautiful. Susan's a contributing author in my book. And that moment when you made that decision and what happened, I want you to talk to the woman, the part of you that made that decision to leave your marriage. There's a little healing around the responsibility of holding the responsibility for somebody else. That touched you, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why Vivian picked it up. It was so brilliant and so smart. And it's not a lot of work, Susan. Basically, what I did is an active imagination with that part of me. So ask her about getting into a relationship again, because she's a little scared, and she'll give you the answers. If you close your eyes right now and see that person, that part of you, that one that walked away from the relationship, took so much courage. What is she doing right? If you ask her if she wants to get into a relationship, what is she doing right now?
She's like 10 different places. She's in the middle of a city. She's at the yacht club. She's buying boats.
So so ask her if she wants to be in a relationship or why she's so busy.
Because she's searching. She does want to be in the relationship and she's searching. which
Okay.
in the past, when I've gone into meditation around relationship, what came through very clearly was that I don't need to search, and that I have been searching. Like, I would go into a room and I would scan the whole room and say, okay, there's a possibility. Nope, nope, nope. And then I'd either choose to stay or I would leave. So I clearly got, I don't need to search. There will be an opportunity where we'll just both be there.
I want you to work with her because it's exactly what you said, because she's keeping herself busy with an activity that's actually keeping her out of the relationship to some degree. I want you to get an active imagination. And also the way that you would have met, like, even though I want you doing things, I want doing things that are feeding your heart and soul. I don't want you searching, because searching keeps us in a searching energy, right, Vivian?
No, because I think that's why the advice of going and doing something that you enjoy, that kind of like challenges you a bit, but nevertheless it's gonna fill your heart. And I think that's more, because then you're more in that space. You're not going there to search for a partner, but you're going because of what you love doing or want to learn doing.
Yes, because searching has a lack attached to it.
Yep.
Going and filling your heart has an abundance.
Different.
Very good. Yeah. So when you write with her, say, I want to get in touch with the part of me that, let's talk. I want to get in touch with the part of me that left my relationship, however you want to describe her. Mine was, I want to get in touch with the part of me that doesn't want to sell the way I used to sell anymore. And she had a ton of information for me. And then just ask her, like, what about relationships, and just let it be an organic. You can journal it and let her answer. Okay.
Love
and then
that.
let me know what happens. Great. Vivian, do you have your cards?
The last card that I just picked now is the Air Guardian, Shift Your Perception. And that to me tied completely into the going from searching into kind of like being in this abundant space where you're receiving and you're doing something that you love. So
great. I'm going to have you do another reading in a second, and then we're going to end now. But before we do that, that was beautiful. Thank you, Vivian, and great feedback. And you can see, this is what I'm talking about on the podcast, how when you work in groups, especially with high level, light-minded groups, Vivian said things that I didn't pick up that were so crucial and so important to Susan. Susan said things about Vivian. And this is why this is why I create communities that are like filled with people like this to help each other go get through stuff, because we don't always see things. And there's so much more solution in groups than there is in just one person. So give me your one action oriented step, and don't make it difficult. One action oriented step that you can do in the next 48 hours, make it small, that will help you with the solutions we've just come up with today. Vivian, you can spend a second to think about it. Do you know what it is, sweetie?
For me, the thing is really because what I did up to now was, like, when I took a shower in the morning afterwards, I put Michael around me, and then I put Jesus and Mary between me. And but now with the intention of having or handing over the issue, because for me, for now, it was for a long time, it was just about protection, kind of like, just don't hurt me. And now it's more like, no, I don't need to worry about this. This will be taken care of. So that's something that I want to kind of like, I want to write it out again for myself so that I remember it, and definitely do that in the morning, every morning.
So what I'd also like you to do is, the next time you see her, I want you to put it between the two of you as well. And don't attach your energy. Just be like, heal the triggers between the two of us.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Perfect. Great.
Thanks.
Great. You're welcome. Susan?
I am going to the yacht club, that new yacht club, and I'm going to go check it out. It's a great marina. So I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee and bring my little dog, and we're going to walk around the marina too and just hang out. It's literally not even 2 miles from my house.
That's great.
Oh,
I love where you live.
I do too. I'm very fortunate to be here. I know, even beyond my kids, that I'm here for a reason, and it's becoming more and more apparent. So
great.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I'm gonna get a sailing magazine because that's easy to do as well.
Good, good, good. Okay, everyone. So Vivian, I'm going to have you do a reading for all of us on one of your angel cards. I'm going to have you, that's for everybody on the podcast. And if you really enjoyed this episode, please do email me or leave a review. You can email me at care@marilynaloria.com and tell me something that you would like us to talk about. If you're interested in being in one of these, are invited hot seats a lot of the times. So if you're interested in being in a hot seat, you can let me know. If you're interested in my program, Next Level Living, go to marilynaloria.com/next. And if you like what you see in that program, email me. Even though the page is open, really, I'm not allowing just anybody in. So we're actually going to shift that to an application only program. All right. So Vivian, you ready to give us a reading?
Yes,
This
yes.
is for all of us. Great.
And I think it's perfect. It's from Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors. And the card I drew is Medicine Guardian, be open to healing information. And I feel that's exactly what happened now during this hour. And I take it as a reminder to stay open to healing information from wherever it comes, and not to get caught up too much in the story. And as you said, breathe and kind of like put some space between us. So definitely, I think it's very fitting.
Love it. Thank you. Is there anything else that wants to come through that card for all of us?
Just, I think, because I feel that healing is needed right now on so many levels and in so many places. And I think right now, as you said in the beginning, it is an early time and it is a difficult time. And I think lots of issues do show themselves to be healed, and to kind of like to be in this frame of mind of healing is possible. And to see kind of like what we can do for ourselves, because I always feel the better I feel in myself, the of more worth I am to the world in a way. So definitely feels very, very comfortable.
We can all
Thanks.
use that. Thank you. Thank you, you two, for sharing your stories, because your stories and your vulnerability and transparency are going to help so many people to not feel alone and also offer them up solution that they need right now. So I know both of those questions that you both had are questions that I get quite a bit in my community. So I really appreciate you being the catalyst for their change. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And please do rate, review, and subscribe. And if you're interested in learning more about my products, you can go to marilynaloria.com. But most importantly, I'm so grateful for everybody who's been listening to the podcast and telling me how much they love it. I love you all. Have a great day or night whenever you're listening to this. And who the heck knows who it's going to be next time? I don't know. That's the whole beauty of this podcast. Who can it be now? We'll see. I'll see you next time.